Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to do a Hunter x Hunter original anime overview. Now, when I say the term original anime, what I'm talking about here is the Hunter x Hunter 1999 anime, following that the OVA, plus the Greed Island OVA number 1, and the Greed Island Final OVA number 2. And this, I believe, was a total of 92 or 93 episodes. I'm not too sure overall. But that being said, it's all the stuff previous to the Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime. And I decided to, because I've heard a lot of good things about the current Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime. So what I decided to do is that since I am a fan of the series Hunter x Hunter, I decided to, watch the original anime. Because I'm a fan of the manga, I read the manga hardcore, but I never really indulged myself in the anime. So, in order to prepare myself for the 2011 anime, I decided to go back and watch every single episode prior to that for the original Hunter x Hunter anime. And I had just finished yesterday, and I am now currently watching the first few episodes of the new Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime. So hopefully when I catch up, I will start doing actual weekly episode reviews of the 2011 Hunter x Hunter anime. I will. So that being said, let's get started with the fucking the original Hunter x Hunter anime. Once again, 1999 and the 3 OVAs. So the first one, alright, the 1999 original Hunter x Hunter anime. This anime it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's actually pretty solid. It's just that when you talk about because we all know that Hunter x Hunter starts off with the Hunter exam. The Hunter exam, for some reason, had like a lot of filler moments in the original anime. I don't know why. There were a lot of filler moments. It's like at some point there was like a small filler arc. There was a filler episode here and there. I remember there was one filler episode where like there was some girl that like Killua, apparently Killua had killed like her father, and then she snuck upon the ship. She snuck on the airship to get revenge on Killua. And I was like, it was really random. So, and then there was one thing where like the group, then there was one thing before they went to the island in order to hunt each other. There was one filler where we see them on like some weird like battleship, or like they were finding treasure and shit. I was like what's going on? And so like very random stuff. Yeah, very random stuff when it came to the original anime. And then some of the scenes were modded up. Like, if you remember, in the manga, when that pirate, no, not the pirate, when the sailor tells Gon to go directly to the cherry tree, or no, to that big tree, like, on top of the hill, well, the guy who follows them apparently gets wounded at some point, and Gon has to carry him, and it's like, that shit didn't happen in the fucking manga, so it's very weird. But, overall, I would have to say that the original Hunter exam, it's okay. It's not spectacular, it's okay. Things really got good when they started hunting each other down. That's when things really got good. I mean, beforehand, it got good when we see Killua, and Killua takes out that one guy. We see him rip out his heart, and like we see him holding a beat heart in his hand, like like it's beating, and then we see Killua just go bam, crush that shit on the spot. That was very good. Also, we have, Hisoka. The voice actor for Hisoka in the original anime, in my opinion, is better than the one for the beginning episodes of the 2011 anime, because in the original anime, his voice is more high-pitched, and he sounds a lot more homosexual. It's like, Gun-kun, kill it. It's like, like he's just really, really, really high-pitched. Like, the dude is freaky as fuck, and it's like, yo, this guy is weird. Oh, I mean, like, there's one scene in the Greed Island shit where he's walking behind Gon and Killua, and he is literally staring at their asses, and then he goes, and I was like, holy shit, get away from this man. But yeah, but honestly though, like Hisoka, like there was one fighting scene between him and this one guy who can like make knives and shit. No, he had like 4 like spinning knives, and Killua and fucking Hisoka, he decapitated the motherfucker. Cause I don't know why, but Hisoka he loves decapitation. That's his signature. He loves that shit, and I don't know why, but he really does. And then like we see, and then okay, yeah. So basically, the shit gets really, really good for the Hunter exam. Once they hunt each other down, and then after the last competition where we see the one-on-one matchups that Chairman Netero had set up, and the thing here, which I really liked the most, was the Gon versus Hanzo fight. The Kurapika versus Hisoka fight, that was okay. Wasn't too spectacular, but it was okay. But the Gon versus Hanzo fight, that was good. Because Gon was using mad speed shit. He was like running on the walls and shit. He was ducking and dodging and bobbing. And Hanzo was literally outpacing him the entire time. And it got to the point where Hanzo got pissed off, broke the dude's arm, and was about to kill the fucker. And I was like, so that was a good fight. That was a very good fight. In my opinion, the best portion of the best fight, actually. Yeah, the best fight of the Hunter exam. And then we see the thing where, like, we don't see it, but we know that Killua, he killed that one martial artist, and then he left because his brother Lumi was there, and like he used Nen and like mindfuck Killua. So yeah, overall, the Hunter exam, it was okay. It wasn't too great, but it was okay. And then the following arc comes, okay, and then the following arc is the arc where they go and get when they go and get Killua from his house. And this one shit gets pretty real. Like, this one shit actually gets good. And this arc overall, I think, is pretty damn good. When they go to Killua's house and they try and get Killua back, and then we see that one dog. Yo, that dog that had the only mission of killing all intruders for the Zoldyck estate. Yo, that dog was fucking creepy. Like, its eyes were fucking dead. When Gon started this thing, Gon was fucking shaking, like, whoa. Like, whoa. Like, whoa, you know, like, back the fuck up. So, you know, I was scared too. And then it came to that one maid, or no, not maid, that one butler guardian, when she was, like, fucking the shit out of, like, Leorio and Gon with, like, that one staff, you know, straight beatdowns, like, yeah, it's speed beatdowns. And at the same time, we see Killua, and he's being tortured by, like, his older brother. Cause he's being tortured with, like, you know, whips and lightning and shit, and he just walks out like nothing. He literally breaks the fucking chains like nothing was fucking going on. And apparently he could have broken out at any given time, and he felt bad because, you know, he had hurt his mother, and then he wanted to stay there and take punishment on his own free will. So, you know, that was crazy shit right there. And then I thought it was really cool to see the bondage between. To see the bond between his father and Killua himself. How we see his father, and his father never really had a chance in order to experience life. He was forced by his parents in order to be an assassin, and that's what he did. But he's decided to give Killua options in his life, and he decided, so you know what, you have friends, Killua, and go to your friends. Go meet your friends. Go with your friends. You know, that was pretty cool right there. And at the same time, we see Gon and Leorio and Kurapika, they finally break out of this, because they finally mentally break down this butler bitch. They really did. And then they go and then they meet Gito or Goto. Yeah, like that one guy with the glasses and the coins. And this motherfucker was like, yo, Killua to me is like a son. And I'm not pleased with you fuckers trying to come in here and take my fucking son. So we see him just, you know, taking the coin and shit, you know, like which hand is it in? You know, like left hand. Okay, let me pick up the pace. And I was like, what? I was like, yo, so that was good shit right there. But at the end of the day, you know, they do come to a compromise, and then they go on, and then this is when we see Gon, Killua, they split up. Leorio goes his way, Kurapika goes his way. Now, this is when they start learning Nen underneath Wing. And this arc was very good. This arc was very, very good. It was like, yo, because, oh man, like, it was crazy. Because when we see them learning Nen, and because we all know that Gon, Leorio, and Killua, they had done previous training in the room that has like all this weighted stuff. So I think it was like Gon can lift up like 2 tons, I think. So it's like Gon and Killua are easily beating their opponents, and then they finally reach level 200. And then here comes Hisoka. He's right there waiting for them. Like, Gon, and like it's just really like just dumb shit. And like he is baptizing them with Nen. He's literally just staying there in like a hallway. And then they need to learn Nen. No, they need to learn either was it Ten or Ren. I'm not too sure, but they need to learn either Ten or Ren in like a few hours. And then they pick that shit up quick because Wing forced his ki inside of them. And then so they're walking down the hallway and shit. And then Hisoka is baptizing the shit out of them with mad fucking Nen. And they're walking through this shit like, yeah, we fucking got this shit on lock, bitch. What now, Hisoka? What now, nigga? I was like, yeah, fuck you, Hisoka. Fuck you. And then, you know, so like they walk through that shit. And then they finally made it to level 200. To 200. And at the same time, they accumulate money, you know, and that's gonna be important later on for the Greed Island shit. But basically, you know, and then they start having fights, and Gon lost his first fight pretty damn bad to like this one drill guy. And at the same time, they're still mastering this fucking concept of Nen. And this is one thing I really didn't like about this arc. Like, I mean, overall, the arc was good. It's just that there's one thing I really, really, really didn't like. And it was when they skipped the fight between Hisoka and this one guy who can make double gangers, or yeah, it was double gangers and like a tiger claw thing, you know? It was him. They skipped the fight between Hisoka and him. And Hisoka lost 2 arms in that fucking shit. And then that one girl from the Phantom Troop, she had to come in and sew his arms back together. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why did they skip that fight? I mean, like, I can understand why, because Hisoka most of the time was, like, he lost a limb. And he was using that lost limb as, like, he was controlling that lost limb with, like, pansy gum. And he was literally, like, fucking up the dude. And, like, it was really strange. But basically, when the dude used a tiger claw in order to like rip his arm off, Hisoka would fake it and he would put the arm back on as if nothing happened, but that was all pansy gum stuff. And because like it was sticking, his arm actually wasn't like attached, but more or less it was the pansy gum. And then we see Hisoka using the other arm like it's flying around through the pansy gum like he's a real magician and shit. But it was still a really good fight, and that fight I was looking forward to, but they skipped that shit, and that to me kind of pissed me off. Yeah, it really did. But then they made up for that shit with the Gon Hisoka fight. That was really good. And Killua had this one good fight too. It was really quick, but it was a pretty good fight too. But overall, once they finally mastered the basics from Wing, really good stuff. And then we see, you know, the whole entire thing where Ring teaches them that, you know, that you're gonna have to learn this on your own, and you actually pass the real hunter exam, because a hunter must at least know some concept of Nen in order to be considered a real hunter. So, you know, they got their real license. Well, Gon got his real license, while Killua went back later on, and he aced the hunter exam with flying fucking colors. So, but yeah, and then after that comes, and this is the best arc in Hunter x Hunter original anime by far, okay? This was the Yorknew City arc. Whoa! The Yorknew City arc was awesome. It was awesome. It was, what the fuck? Yo, let me tell you why it was so awesome. One name. Ubo. Holy shit. Ubo, I love this dude. Look, man, I knew that he was gonna die to begin with because I read the manga, but it's just that Ubo was so fucking cool. It was like, yo, like this is my dude. Like there was one scene where literally after he gets captured And after he gets the poison sucked out of him, he gets out the chains, takes a deep breath. So, like, he's yelling his ass off. It's like a sonic boom everywhere. Like, niggas are like, what the fuck is going on? Like, yo, Ubo was my dude. But basically, it starts off, and what happens here is that I remember, yeah, it's like the reason why Gon and Killua go to Yorknew City is because after they're training with Wing, they go back to their mom's house. I mean, to Whale Island, and then they chill with Mito-san for like a month, and then she gives Gon this box that Gin had, and this box has the Greed Island memory card and the ring, and so they go to Yorknew City in order to find Greed Island, the game, because there's auctions there. At the same time, there's mafia shit going on with auctions. So, like, there's an underground auction. At the same time, there's, like, a main auction. And so the underground auction is being targeted by the Phantom Troop. I think his full name is Kurolo Lucifer. And him and his squad, meaning Hisoka, Nobunaga, Uvo, a few others that I forgot their names, but that one sewing chick, I forgot her name. And basically, this shit's so good because when they finally, it's like when they go to the underground auction, and at the same time we see Kurapika finally mastered his Nen. Well, not mastered, but like he learned Nen, like the whole entire chain thing. And we all know that he had to make a lot of sacrifices in order to like, you know, get the Nen much stronger. Like if he uses his Nen against certain people, correction. I think if he uses the chain jail and the judgment chain against people who are not members of the Phantom Troop, then he will die. I think that applies to both the chain jail and the judgment chain. I'm not too sure if it's just only the chain jail. I'm not too sure. But basically, he has restrictions on his Nen. These restrictions make his Nen a lot stronger, but overall, there's a huge drawback where if he fails to meet the requirements, or if he betrays the requirements he set for himself, he will die. So, but this makes him like super fucking strong. And there was one thing I completely forgot about. When his eyes turn scarlet, his Nen for every category is 100%. I was like, oh, fuck me. I forgot all about that shit. Like, it was crazy. So, it's like clearly, if Kurapika has 100% category for every section of Nen, reinforcement, emissions, manipulation, transmission, all that shit, then he could be, like, if he actually mastered that shit, he could be so fucking devastating. It's like, what the fuck? Seriously? He really could? But that being said, at the same time, we're seeing Kurapika's group, and they're at the auction as well, in order for their boss, because their boss is like one of like the head guys. Not one of the 10 Dons. He's like a step below the 10 Dons. He has mad money because his daughter can see the future and shit. So, but basically at some point, a few members of his group get killed by the Phantom Troop in the auction. And like this one girl with the vacuum, she cleans up all the fucking mess and shit. But apparently these guys called like the shadow dudes, they come in there and they take all the fucking items, because previous to that point in time, there was actually like a fortune telling of the actual auction. And that's why a few of the Dons weren't there, because they were told they were told about the future from the boss's daughter. So it's kind of like, well, we're not gonna go. And at the same time, going to Killua are still trying to do their thing with the Greed Island stuff and trying to make money. And what happens here is really cool shit, because what happens here is that at some point, Lucifer tells Uvo and the crew to make a scene. And they make a scene. And all the Mafia guys come in there. Uvo literally fucks them up. Then come the Shadow Beast. The Shadow Beast, they do a little bit of damage to Uvo, but at the end of the day, Uvo fucks him up too. One guy puts like these leeches in his body, but it doesn't really matter. He drinks some beer, and apparently like the beer like negates the leeches, so it's pretty cool. And then we see Kurapika in the darkness, has his chain, he wraps up Uvo, drags him into the car, and then like there was one scene where Uvo literally stares dead straight at Kurapika, and Kurapika stares right at him back like, fuck you nigga, I got you bitch, I fucking got you, fuck you. I was like, yeah, that's my dude right there, Kurapika. And basically they take Uvo, they capture him, but he escapes via Phantom Troop. Uvo hunts the shit out of Kurapika. They have that face-off in that one room, and then they go to like a wasteland area, and then they have the best fight in the entire fucking arc. No, in the entire series. Kurapika versus Uvo. And that show is fucking awesome. Because Kurapika was mad fucking powerful. And Uvo was mad fucking powerful. And they were doing crazy shit like, yeah, punch, chain shit. And then it ends off with Zetsu. I was like, whoa. Because Uvo uses Zetsu, he hides in the dust, sneaks up on Kurapika, punches him right in the fucking arm, like, you know, straight up punch. But Kurapika also used Zetsu, made his chain invisible. Then he wraps Uvo in that shit, and then uses the Judgment Chain. He's like, tell me what the fuck the powers are for the goddamn Phantom Troop. And then Uvo's like, you go to hell, you motherfucker. And I was like, oh shit, you know, like it was crazy. So yeah, it was crazy. Great fight. After that comes the whole entire thing with the fight between Lucifer, because Lucifer sneaks into the actual second auction, and where the actual items are being held, and he takes out mad fucking people. And at the end of the day, he fights off against Killua's father and his grandfather, the Zoldicks. That shit was good, because Grandpa Zoldyck was doing mad dragon shit, like fucking, and like you see like a dragon come out, like it was crazy shit. And then we see Killua's father doing like, you know, like he was like, what the fuck, son? Like he was like, yo, he was impressive. At some point, he got cut with like a knife from the like the Byzantine era. I'm not too sure what it's called, but basically the knife is poisonous. No, the knife is poisonous. So he's poisoned in his arm right here, and then he goes like this, and literally all the poison squirts out. Takes off his hairs and wraps the hair around his arm and tightens that shit. And then the grandpa's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Of course." I'm like, "Oh, you know, so clearly epic shit going on here." But basically, at the end of the day, Illumi, which surprised me, Illumi had a job to target the 10 Dons. He kills the 10 Dons, and he manipulates them using his needles. And then they have a message for all the mafia guys, tells them that the auction is going to continue, even though they're all dead. Like, we see a fly literally go in one of the Dons, literally in like one of the Dons' eyeballs and shit. So what happened is that now that the Dons are dead, the Zoldicks are no longer being paid by the 10 Dons, and thus Lucifer gets away. They make fake bodies, and then it appears as if the Phantom Troop is already dead. And then the very last scene of the series, of the original 1999 series, is Hisoka sends a text to Kurapika, and he's like, the buddies were fake, send. I was like, okay. And that right there cuts it for the original 1999 anime. Now, once again, very good stuff. Kurapika fight against Uvo, very good. Even though Uvo died, Uvo was still my dude, alright? Now, the next OVA involves more of, what's her name? Is it Piku or Paku? Yeah, like Paku something. I forgot her name. But basically, Paku. From now on, I'm called Paku. And it involves her and Nobunaga. Because Nobunaga is, like, mad pissed off. Because, like, there was one scene prior... actually, was it... yeah, like, there was one scene... Like, yeah, like, there was one actual scene where, like, we see... like Nobunaga, and he captures, well, they hold Killua and Gon hostage, and then I'm not too sure if that happened in the OVA or in the original series. I'm not too sure. But basically, Nobunaga holds these fucker in like a room, and like he has like these, and like we see Gon and Killua like they break out of that shit by busting down the walls and shit, and Nobunaga uses N, and he's like, come at me, but they already bailed out of the fucking building and shit. So that was pretty good right there. But basically, in the OVA, it's more involved with Paku and her involvement with the entire group. I mean, at the end of the day, the OVA was actually pretty damn good, like really damn good. In the main gist, they realize that the Phantom Troop are still alive, and then they hunt them down. They have a plan. The plan kind of goes awry with the capture of Gon and Killua, and what happens is that Melody, who was a friend of Kurapika, and Leorio, they have a plan in order to capture Lucifer. And what happens here is that basically, well, they go capture Lucifer, but at the same time, that one girl Paku, she has the ability to like read your mind if she touches you and you answer a certain question. So what happens is that she knows who Kurapika is and all the memories and shit. But then at the same time, Kurapika sends like a note to Paku, says, "Don't say a fucking word." And then we see the plan. We see the plan of how Paku is involved with Kurapika, how she makes the deal. But at the same time, Lucifer in his mind, he's like, he has a weakness. His weakness is his friends and so on and so forth. But it doesn't matter because Kurapika uses the chain jail on both Lucifer and Paku. And then the exchange happens. And this is where shit gets good. The exchange happens and Hisoka is like, fuck it, I'm going in. You know, like, kill it. Like, you know, he's like, I'm going in and shit. Cause, yo, the man loves his poses. He poses like, kill it. Like, he's so good. But basically, they go in there. Hisoka said, fuck it. And then this is when they realized that Hisoka had betrayed them because he was not a member of the Phantom Troop. That tattoo he had was fucking fake as shit. And then we see Paku. And basically, Paku is like, she dies in the process of giving the memories to the original 6, which I believe were Nobunaga, the sewing chick, the guy who looks like Frankenstein, the grip dude, the little midget guy who looks like Hiei, and that's it. That's it. And I think so. And someone else. I'm pretty sure it's someone else. And then she dies. And then what happens is, okay, well, they all know who Kurapika is. And at the same time, Lucifer, he can't do shit because he can't be involved with the Phantom Troop anymore. And then with the end of the OVA, it's basically, well, I'm going to go and find someone who can, like, remove my Nen. And we see Kurapika, he leaves, they all leave. And then right there is the end of the OVA. Then comes the Greed Island OVAs, which were really fucking good. Alright? The Greed Island shit starts off with them trying to get into Greed Island. At the same time, it starts off with like Kurapika, and Kurapika's like having like issues and shit, like hallucinations, he's going insane. And then the first auction we see Gon and Killua go to in order for the Greed Island stuff is, you know, it's pretty crazy. Because off the gate, they meet 2 members of the Phantom Troop, and they cut off Gon and Killua. Like, where the fuck are y'all 2 going? Where the fuck are y'all 2 going, man? Phantom Troop, bitches, fucking Phantom Troop, man. So they cut them off, but at the end of the day, they tell them that they have no issue with Gon and Killua anymore because, you know, they want to catch Kurapika, they want to kill Kurapika. So, you know, and then they almost revealed that there was a person who can like remove Nen, but then they said fuck it. Then we see Gon and Killua, and then they auction off because like there's one guy who, because at some point in time in the last OVA, they go and they find items and like they use their Nen or they use their Gyo in order to search for auras. They find auras of actual objects that were actually noteworthy, and then they find this one object where it's like a little wooden treasure chest. It has mad gems and shit inside of it. And so they sell that shit off like a mad money. But what happens is that they bid for the Green Island game, which is being sold off by like this one guy, like a super billionaire. And he buys like 7 copies of that shit, but one gets stolen, so it's now 6. But basically what happens here, what happens is that Gon at some point raises his thumb up, and that's like, oh shit, like we're doubling it, and now it's like fucking like 2.4. No, it was like $24 billion. And then Killua and the one guy are freaking the fuck out. We're like, dude, we cannot pay for this shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? We're screwed. Yada yada yada. And then that billionaire, you know, he goes at this, which means that he raises 2, so another 2 billion. And then Killua's brother's there, and him and his brother are trying to, like, you know, like battle out and shit. But at the end of the day, the guy always wins. He gets all 7 of the games -1 because the Phantom Troop stole that one. And then what happens is that they enter, and then through a process of training, because like, there's one guy who is like the examiner, and at first Killua and Gon, they meet him. He says that these guys suck. Then they come back after training, and he's like, holy shit, because Killua is using fucking lightning and shit. And then Gon learns the rock, and it's like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, so they get in Greed Island, and at the same time, I mean, ultimately speaking, the Phantom Troop, they're there too, but it's not a big deal when it comes to the Phantom Troop. It's really not. But they're there too. And basically, this is when Killua and Gon hop into Greed Island, and then they meet Biscuit, who is their next trainer, and then they learn about the bomber, who is like, you know, literally killing people on the fly. And at the same time, at some point, Lucifer meets up with Hisoka, and he has a game of his own, and then he sends Hisoka into Greed Island. And at the end of the first Greed Island OVA, we see that Gon and Killua, they were training with Biscuit for like a pretty long time in order to master it, because Biscuit sees potential in these two. And what happens here is that she sends there's one guy who was hunting them down, like some mass murderer. He's pretty fucking strong. But Gon and Killua train with this guy for like a week straight, honing their skills. And at the end of the day, the guy gives up. And then he vouches to turn himself in. And then Gon and Killua are like, yeah, we're fucking stronger now. You know, fist bump. And right there is the end of the actual first OVA. The last OVA, which is the Greed Island final in the original series, is awesome shit. Why? One word. Fucking Razor. Fucking Razor. It was like, ooh. Oh no. 2 words. Razor and Bomber, okay? Because Razor, Razor, this motherfucker right here. The cool thing about Razor, basically, Greed Island is made by Gon's father, and Gon's father wants Gon to enjoy the game. And then apparently, Razor knew Gon's father, and Gon's father said, if my son ever comes here, do not go easy on him. 100% full blown out. And there's one scene here, and before they meet Razor, what happens is that Gon and Killua, they're still mastering their Nen, or no, they're still learning their Nen. And what happens is that, well, basically, the Phantom Troop, they realize that the island itself exists in the real world, and they try and go in from, you know, some actual coastline of the real world. However, Razor's there, and he's like, well, you guys can't do that because I'm a game master, bitches. Has this one card, he sends them all away, and then their speedboat is just chilling there. He makes a volleyball and he pegs it at the fucking boat. That shit explodes like a motherfucker. He's like, yeah, like mad lazy, like fuck it. And that was really funny right there. At the same time, what happens here is that at some point, because we see the bomber, he betrays his former comrades, and his original 3 comrades, they collect all the cards that were left over from the actual group, and then they kill everyone else. Crazy shit. While Biscuit, Gon, and Killua are still training, and that one guy, the examiner, Tenza something. I forgot his name. Yeah, Tenza something. I forgot her name. I mean, his name. He looks like a demon, you know, like a demon. But basically, this Tenza guy, they're collecting cards too. At some point, the bomber and his squad, they use these things called like risky dice, and they steal like mad good shit from Tenza's, you know, binder. And what happens here is that Gon and Killua, and Biscuit. They actually meet up with this group, and then they try and get like this #2 card, which is like really hard to get because they need to beat Razor. The first time they fail, but the second time what happens is that they come back with like a beastly ass squad. They come back with like they find Hisoka. They find Hisoka, get his ass. Then it's Tenza and his crew. Then it's those trio, and then they get like and then they get like 4 or 5 randoms, and that's it. And basically they go in there, they wreck shop. At some point the randoms get scared because Razor's so fucking powerful, and they run away. Razor gets in there. He's like, yo, fuck this shit. We're going in hardcore. Razor makes double gangers of himself. And this right here is some of like the best shit. Because we see Razor, and Razor is like, you know what? Well, you know, you're Gin Freaks' son. Well, I'm not gonna hold back, bitch. And he doesn't. Like, he literally targets the shit out of Gon every fucking peg. It's like, damn, dude, it's like, chill. There was one thing where Gon, it's like Killua has to hold the ball for Gon, and Gon is literally like taking the ball, and he is smashing the shit out of the ball with like rock and shit. And then at some point, Razor catches the ball, he pegs it at Killua, but then it hooks towards Hisoka, but skims Biscuit, and Biscuit she's out, and so it's the main 3, Hisoka, Gon, and Killua against Razor. And at some point they do like a combination thing, cause Razor, he gets rid of all his double gangers, his Nen returns to him, and then he fucking like slams the shit at Gon, Killua, and Hisoka, and they do like a trio thing where Gon is catching the ball, Hisoka is like behind Gon and Killua, while Killua is maintaining the balance between the two. They catch the ball, and it's like Killua is like in real bad condition. Then Killua has to hold the ball from him again, and his hands are fucked up already. And what happens here is that he holds the ball, and Gon's like, fucking, I need more power. Yeah, surge, like a fucking power spike in Gon's neck. He punches that shit at fucking Razor. Razor's like, well, I'm gonna fucking return it. He sets it right back at Gon. Gon faints and ducks. And then Hisoka for the motherfucking win. Hisoka uses the pansy gum, and he throws it right back at Razor, and it sticks to Razor's hand, and Razor gets blown out of the actual ring, and Gon, Killua, and Hisoka get the victory, and they get the card. But this shit is not over yet, because what happens is that Bomber's like, I see that shit, bitch. So what happens here is that Tenza and his crew, they act as decoys for like 3 weeks in order to prevent what's his name? Bomber from getting the card. So what happens is that Tenza, he's like, you know what, we're gonna have 3 weeks in order to, like, you know, escape and shit. So what's gonna happen here is that you guys need to set up a plan. After 3 weeks, and Tenza and the guys, they leave the game. 3 weeks later, like 2 days later, they go after Gon, Biscuit, and Killua. And the Biscuit and that guy's fight, not a really big deal. Killua and that Yo-Yo fight, okay. But the main fight was between Gon and Bomber. And Gon said, fuck it, we're going in. And this fight was goddamn good, because Bomber blew up his fucking left hand, and his right hand was almost totaled. And at the same instant, Gon had like a Nen kick, and he literally kicked him in the fucking chin. And so Bomber's like, oh shit, you know, what's going on? And then at some point, Gon uses rock, punches the ground, makes like this pitfall. There's a hole in the pitfall. They actually, and then what happens is that Gon has like a boulder. He summons the boulder. The boulder almost crushes Bomber, but then Bomber's trapped. And then Gon in the corner is like fucking rock. And then Bomber's like, whoa, wait. Bam, punch to the fucking gut. Bomber is down. Gon is fucked up. After that, what happens is that they recover using this angel wing thing. And then at the end of the day, they collect all the cards. And after they collect all the cards, Gon meets this person who worked with Gin. These two guys who worked with Gin. And then Gon is allowed to bring 3 cards back with him. They choose Blue Planet, they choose this other card, this necklace card, and then they choose the last card, which was well, it was a transform card, but basically it was a company. And what happened was they used a company to this guy called Nick. Because apparently Gon believed that the first person he met in the game was this other guy. But apparently Gon was there when he was a kid, and he believes that it was Din. So he uses a company Nig, and so they go and they fly off into the sunset, and then they meet this person who is fishing by a cherry tree, and that right there is the end of the original anime. And overall, my rating for the original anime is the B+. It's a B+ rating because it's very, very good. A few minor, niches here and there, like the fillers in the first Hunter x Hunter, Hunter exam, and then the skipped fight between Hisoka and the Tiger Claw guy. But overall, a B+ rating. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I know that this is probably like my longest overview thus far, but even still, very, 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 very good. Very good. B+ rating. And that being said, King of Lightning, rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Once I'm done catching up with the original, once I'm done catching up with the Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime, I will start doing weekly reviews of the 2011 Hunter x Hunter anime. Hopefully by the end of this week, people. So if you are a fan of Hunter x Hunter, and if you love this shit like I do, if you love Hisoka, Gon-kun, if you are a fan of OVA, if you are a fan of the Phantom Troop, if you love Killua, if you love Leorio-san, if you love Kurapika, that beastly motherfucker, then be prepared to hopefully see reviews of Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime at the end of this week. That being said, King of Lightning, rate, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a nice day.